Farm for Profit Podcast. Take a listen, have a blast. Farm for Profit Podcast. Learn about farming while having a laugh. Farm for Profit Podcast.
Hey listeners, it is time for a What's Working in Ag segment, and we know we've had several conversations around this topic, and we know it's going to work for your farm, but I can't wait to introduce you to Logan Chamberlain. She's here representing ADS and going to join us for this conversation today. Welcome, Logan.
Thank you, Tanner. Thanks for having me on.
First of all, start off by introducing yourself, who you are, what your tie to agriculture is, and then roll right into a little bit about ADS.
Perfect. So my name is Logan Chamberlain. I am the agriculture market manager for Advanced Drainage Systems based out of Hilliard, Ohio. And in addition to working in the water management side of the house, I also farm, grain farmer in Northwest Ohio.
Well, that's exciting. I like when we can relate somebody from the professional world to that of the agricultural world. And Now tell us more about ADS.
Yep, absolutely. So a little bit about Advanced Drainage Systems, or ADS. So we started in 1966. Right before then, people were doing drainage improvements on their farms, a lot of the times right here in the heart of Ohio, with clay tile. So very manual, very difficult to install, but folks knew then the importance of kind of managing the water that they had within their fields. So ADS started truly kind of changed the game for drainage, as they were the innovators of the corrugated plastic pipe. So now it's very common, right? You see these big tile rolls out in fields, you know exactly what's happening. ADS was proud to be the innovator of that product back in the 60s, and to this day will still continue to innovate. Started in the ag market and really are the name that farmers and contractors can count on for their water management systems.
Now, I find it difficult to think there's a ton of innovation that goes into a plastic pipe, but explain more as to how that really happens.
Yes, absolutely. And I think, that's a common thing, even something that I thought about, right? Of it's just pipe. What's it matter? And so truly something we're incredibly proud of is that Advanced Drainage Systems, or ADS, has now opened a very large state-of-the-art engineering facility. And that's where you kind of can get to see everything come to life, right? So when you're working within tenths of an inch, and you have to have the proper grade in order to truly move water throughout your field and into the proper waterways, that matters. That engineering and the science that goes into creating the right form and fit of a pipe is critical. And so that's where a lot of that innovation is coming, of not only making the product better and last, but also what the experience of that product is for our contractors and installing it truly into our fields.
So why is it, though, important for our listeners to be able to manage their water with that kind of precision?
Yes. So number one, what everyone loves and wants to see at the end of the year is profit. And so truly, right, we know that everything from a good, healthy crop starts within that soil, right? And so you're making decisions on seed and chem and FERT inputs. And this is all about making sure that the ground and that incredibly valuable asset is working its hardest for you. So not only just removing excess water, but having water in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, that is key. And I know we've had conversations, listeners, about how we can maximize profitability using drain tile, but I want to learn about how ADS is really putting that science into their product. You talked about the engineering, but now shed some light on what you're actually doing.
Yes, absolutely. So a lot of it is just, right, how are we getting the right product available for your soil? So it is down to, what perforation patterns are we using? Is that fit for your soil CECs? What is going to be able to enable your soil to truly act as the sponge that it is? Right. And it kind of sounds so simple at the end of the day. And that's what I love about drainage and kind of water management, is that it sells itself, right? You see it once and you know that it's a great solution for your farm, whether you have too much water. Some of our country was in a drought this year. I was affected by that. And, you're able to kind of see over tile lines when things are too dry, those crops are growing in a better manner because your roots are getting down deeper. They've got a better base structure. They're able to get up out of the ground a little bit sooner. And something that we've heard right now, right, especially as weather is so volatile across the country, Mother Nature is hard to control. Our field drainage and having a pattern tile system on your field is allowing farmers to get into that ground sooner, right? They've got a 3-day window and they need to be taking advantage of all of it. And a lot of those times, those fields that they couldn't get into, they're able to, within the first year even of installing drainage tile on their fields.
Well, right here in Central Iowa, we saw that this year. We had a wet spring, and now we've had a wet fall, and it is affecting those producers to get in and get their job done. I also see that your product uses recycled material, making it possibly greener.
Yes, absolutely. And that is, something I think we love to tote, right? A lot of times as a farmer, right, I wear that cap in addition to my corporate hat. You hear like sustainability and immediately think like this can't be profitable. And I think that there's a great thing to be noted that you can be sustainable and profitable at the same time using, especially starting with drainage management systems. So we are one of the largest plastics recyclers in North America. And a part of that engineering center that we do, right, we are taking recycled material from across the country, cleaning and purifying it. Of course, it has to hit certain standards. And then using that within material science to make sure that we're creating a product that not only meets but exceeds every industry standard necessary for drainage requirements. So pretty cool thing that we can keep, plastic out of landfills. I think last year was over 500 billion pounds that we kept out of a landfill and put back to better use on our agricultural ground.
Wow, 500 billion pounds. That's exciting.
Million, sorry. 500 million.
That's still a large amount of plastic. And to think that farmers can invest in this to make their farm or business more profitable while saving the planet.
Yes, absolutely.
I feel like
we are doing our part.
Yeah, I think you guys need a T-shirt about that. So now tell us what's on the forefront for next year. What's coming down the pipe, to say, for ADS in 2025? I love a good pun. That's a great one, by the way, Tanner. So really kind of what's coming down the pipe is thinking about, right, more than just the true drainage system. What else can we be adding in? I think across the country, there is a push from a conservation manner and standpoint. And we know that there's a lot of work and research going into what more can we be doing as farmers, right? And so that's coming from our water control structures that we work with. We will make recommendations on when and how those can be utilized in your fields to hold back water when you need to, or kind of be able to adjust those levels. Another thing is lift stations, right? There's a lot of parts of this country that they don't have the gravity or an outlet to be able to say, maybe I can't tile because I don't have anywhere for this water to go. And so the other things, right, a big component is a lift station in the event that you need a different outlet or something. Being able to use a lift station and then enable drainage water management on your farm. So that's a big one. They are getting more and more popular, especially as people see them work and see the rewards and see the benefit. And so that's kind of full steam ahead for us in the coming year. So now, does ADS attend farm shows or events that our listeners could attend this winter and spring seasons to learn more about it firsthand?
Yes, we absolutely do. So one of our biggest shows that we will be at this year is NACADE. So it's the North American Conservation Drainage Expo in Indianapolis. So we will be there in January and honestly showing off all of our innovations. So a lift station will be on display, as well as our automated maxi trailer. So that is a much safer delivery to the farm field, and some of the other great innovations that we have coming out to make life easier for our farmers and contractors. So all of that will be on display. And then, of course, a lot of regional shows as well, such as, National Farm Machinery Show, et cetera.
That's great. I know our listeners will be out and about, so it'll be good for them to look you up. But if they can't make it to a show, how can they learn more about ADS?
Yes, absolutely. So you can find us online at adspipe.com/agriculture. And then, of course, if you want to get in touch with your local sales rep, I think we've got the absolute best in the game on team here at ADS. But you can find your local ag rep in your state as well through that website.
Awesome. Well, you heard it there, listeners. That's Logan Chamberlain from ADS, and she just shared a bit of knowledge with you. Thanks for joining us on the podcast.